Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Top 5 Wednesday. The topic that I personally am going to be doing this week is favourite books before BookTube. The rest of the BookTube community did this topic last week, but if you don't know, I made a mistake with my Top 5 Wednesday and I posted my favourite bromances last Wednesday, which is the topic that everybody else will be doing this week. So if you are interested in my favourite bromances, I will leave a link to that video that I posted last Wednesday in the description down below, but because obviously I missed out on doing this topic last week, I thought I would just do it this week instead. So favourite books before BookTube. I worked out that I think I discovered BookTube in late 2011, maybe early 2012, so it's literally years and years ago, and it was quite a developmental period in my life. I guess I was in my early 20s. I was 21. I turned 21 in late 2011 and my tastes were changing in pretty much all areas of my life. So most of the books that I own behind me and most of the books I've read in recent years I did actually discover through BookTube. BookTube is probably my main primary source for discovering new books and authors now, which is really awesome, but a lot of my tastes have changed according to BookTube, I feel. But the 5 books I'm going to talk about in this video are definitely books that I read and really loved before I discovered BookTube, and I do still really love all of these books today. So the first one I'm going to talk about, I'm going to get it out of the way straight away, and that is of course the Harry Potter series. I've been reading this since I was about 9 or 10 years old and I still love it just as much. I recently reread the entire series and I'm still picking up little things that I never noticed before, and it really is a series that keeps on giving every time you reread it. And yeah, of course I still really adore the Harry Potter series. It will always have a special place in my heart. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is Pet Sematary, but mostly Stephen King as an author in general. I first started reading him when I was about 15, 16, and I love his books. I didn't really love the first couple of books that I read by him, and then I read The Shining and I realised that I am crazily in love with his 70s and 80s classic horror books, and Pet Sematary is my favourite by him, very closely followed by It, which I only read this year. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a Stephen King fan for a long time, since I was a teenager, so yeah, he's definitely an author that I loved before BookTube. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is a children's classic that I have loved since I was a child, and that is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. And of course I've loved these crazy, whimsical, nonsensical stories since I was a child. I've loved most of the film adaptations that I've seen, and yeah, I still really enjoy anything Alice in Wonderland related. My Instagram name is inspired by Alice in Wonderland, so yeah, of course it is a book and a story that I have loved before BookTube. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I am actually quite a big Bronte fan, and I do feel that I don't really talk about my love of the Brontes and my taste in classic literature in general. Maybe I will do a future video about my tastes in classics, but Wuthering Heights is my favourite classic, I would say. It's certainly my favourite Bronte book. I do love Jane Eyre as well, but I think I do slightly prefer Wuthering Heights, and yeah, this is just literally a, I guess I kind of picked it up during my first couple of years of university. Obviously I was reading a lot of Victorian Gothic literature during that time, as you tend to do when you're actually studying English literature, and yeah, just picked up a love of the Brontes, so yeah, I definitely loved them before BookTube. And the last one I want to talk to you about is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I actually picked up this book through a recommendation from one of my real life friends who I don't actually speak to anymore, but she recommended this book to me, and it was actually one of the first YA books that I read as an adult, and it was before I discovered BookTube. When I actually discovered BookTube, I realised how popular this book was. It was a couple of years before the film came out as well, but I read it and I loved it. I was moved by it, I was inspired by it, and I haven't actually reread it since then, so I feel that maybe this is due a reread from me, just to basically see if I do still love it, or whether I see some of the problems that I know some people have with it and stuff like that. So yeah, but I did definitely love The Fault in Our Stars before I discovered BookTube. And that is it for me for this week's Top 5 Wednesday. What are some of your favourite books that you loved before you discovered BookTube? Please let me know. below. I will leave all of my social media in the description down below. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye bye!